Good morning and welcome everyone to Money Control live stream. You're watching the opening bell and I'm your host Nickey Mirchandani. Well, Indian equities are likely to witness a session of volatility, especially on F&O monthly expiry. Apart from that, you have OPEC meeting on output cut and the exit polls, which are likely to dictate the trend going forward. Of course, GIFT Nifty is indicating a slightly muted to mildly positive start coming in for Indian equity markets. Talk about US markets overnight. They edged lower on Wednesday as a solid upward GDP revision eased to an extent recession fears. Of course, you had the governor's remarks which raised the questions about the duration of central bank restrictive policy. That also to an extent weighed down, but Asian markets have been trading muted at this point of time as US Fed speaks pushed in bonds higher. Talk about FII and the DII trend. Well, it's been rather encouraging. FIIs have purchased equities to an extent to 71 crore and DIIs too have pumped in nearly around 2,360 odd crore. Well, a bit of adjustment which is likely to take place. Let's just say the adjustment effect which is likely to take place today for MSCI, where IndusInd Bank, Suzlon Energy, Persistent System and 197 Communication, essentially some of the stocks out of the 9 which will be entering in MSCI Global Standard Index. Of course, in the previous session, last hour trade, we already saw some amount of adjustments, but today is when the action is really going to take place for the MSCI index and the 9 stocks that I just mentioned. Of course, this happened on November 15th. No Indian stocks were excluded from the index this time around. In addition, IDFC First Bank, Max Healthcare, Paytm, Polycab, PFC, REC are some of the others which have been included in the MSCI India Domestic Index. The adjustments, like I said earlier, will come into effect from market close on November 30. Okay, in terms of FNOQs, what do we have? Well, FIIs have been the net buyers of around 1,334 crore in index futures. They've also been net buyers in stock futures to an extent of 3,300 crore, where they've been selling Bank Nifty futures, along with that Bank Nifty options, and along with that also index options. Well, let's also talk about the FNO ban. What is new in the ban is Hindustan Copper, Manappuram Finance. What comes out of the ban is BHEL, Granules, Balrampur Chini and Indiabull Housing Finance. Nifty PCR ratio, let's talk about that number. It's come at 1.47 versus 1.21 earlier, indicating slight mood of the equity markets. Perhaps the call position is now seems to be building up more because the ratio above 1 PCR suggests that traders are buying in more puts than calls. Beg your pardon, it's the put position which is building up more at this point of time. Nifty options November 30 expiry, maximum call open interest is seen around that 20,200 mark and maximum put open interest is seen around that 20,000 levels. If you talk about Bank Nifty options, well, in terms of expiry, at least for today, we have maximum call open interest around that 45,000 mark and maximum put open interest being around that 43,000 mark. That's long and short when it comes to the trade setup. We're going to be addressing in the markets open just in a jiffy, but it is an important day. You have exit poll, you have FNO expiry, you have OPEC cut output coming in. That's the meeting essentially which will dictate the cut. So these are 3 essential parameters which are expected to weigh down on the market sentiment. It was a good close yesterday, but the start is equally important today. 20,130 mark. That's the level that Nifty 50 has started with gains to an extent of 0.1% thereabouts. In terms of what we have for Bank Nifty, let's look at the trend there. It was a consolidation breakout in the previous session that sustained, and we saw newer highs being built in. And today's session is acting no different. At least at the start of the trade, it seems like a positive start for Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. For Bank Nifty, gains to an extent of 0.3% thereabouts. In terms of the mid-cap index, that's what we have, a bit of momentum building up even for that one. And a small cap index, well, the trend is acting no different there. So that's a bit of, today's trading session is significant for many reasons. Of course, FPI interest is also significant and slowly overcoming valuation and event risk discomfort. Now, do bear in mind the fact that yesterday's buying came in on account of Nifty IT and Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is positive today, but Nifty IT is a bit, started off on a negative note. And in terms of what we have in terms of the top gainers and the top losers, just to see how is the trend stacking up there. Of course, we're also going to be addressing stocks and news in just a jiffy. But Hero MotoCorp, Eicher Motors, BPCL, these are some of the top gainers that we have. DRL, Kotak Mahindra Bank, L&T. These are some of the other top gainers. Apart from that, Ultratech Cement, M&M and Grasim are also some of the gainers that we have on the list right now. Let's also talk about the losers there. Well, NTPC, Asian Paints and Tech Mahindra. These are some of the other top losers, but we're going to quickly go to Chandan Taparia, who's a Senior Vice President, heads Derivative and Technical Research. Morning there, Chandan.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, pleasure is all ours. A bit of late start with you, but let's start with what's your assessment on the F&O expiry day. It is an important day, the judgment day essentially, where exit poll results are going to be coming in. OPEC meet outcome is going to be coming in. Yesterday, there was an important level which was scaled in. What is the level now that the viewers can look at, immediate support and resistance level?
Yeah, so I think very important day because market is just stepping towards the new high territories. In last 2 days, we managed to surpass hurdle of 19,888 and now knocking 20,200 zone. So setup is positive. We have seen surge in the put call ratio. Your volatility also spiked. And we have seen contribution from the Bank Nifty index. So we believe that now support will shift higher to 20,000 and market has potential to hit 20,222 and then extend the rally to us 20,400 to 20,500. Talking about Bank Nifty, it has surpassed its falling supply trend line. So till it holds above 44,444, we are expecting this momentum to extend to us 45,000 in Bank Nifty. So looking for fresh highs in Nifty and momentum in Bank Nifty to us 45,000.
All right, if someone was supposed to initiate buy at these levels, what's going to be your advice there? Or what levels can they, should they wait for the dips to be initiated so that they can go, how do they approach the fresh series rather going forward?
So there are two things. First, market was consolidating, and when it consolidates, it's very tough to take the position and have the patience. But yes, you can look for trade 2 times. If you're looking for index, can buy now, can buy on any dip to us 20,000, put support of 19,888 and look for a rally to us 20,500. So I believe that whatever the position you are holding or want to have, keep the support of 19,888.
Chandan, Bank Nifty and IT, essentially these were the two sectoral indices which led to the buying coming in for the previous session. Of course, there was a consolidation breakout which took place post to which we've seen the levels that we have and a slight amount of build up thereof. But for these two sectoral indices, what's your call coming in on these two? What do you like? And few top 2 recommendation coming in from you.
Yeah, so you ask about IT and I'll also add auto as well. So looking at the Nifty IT, we believe momentum could be there. Nifty IT index itself can see the movement of 3 to 5%. We have positive on the Nifty auto index as well. So if I combine both in Nifty auto, I'll focus on counter like Tata Motors. So one can buy Tata Motors with support of 698. It can head to us 730. In auto, I'll go with counter like Coforge, which has given a momentum after the comparison of the last 4 days. So with support of 5,600, it can head to us 5,900. So 2 picks, Tata Motors, and 1 will be Coforge from IT and auto pick in the market.
All right, that's the word coming in. Of course, we are going to be talking about Eicher Motors first because there is a Jefferies report which talks about the annual biking festival in Goa, which is increasing in the confidence on RE brand per se and sees a limited impact of RE from the recent competitive launches and also calls it a candidate of potential re-rating. Given that's a bit of news coming in for actually brokerage reports coming in for Eicher Motors. But let's address the other stocks and news that we have. Suzlon Energy is also going to be the one that you need to keep on your list today. MSCI entrant out there. But apart from that, there are a bunch of other names that we'd like to talk about. GNFC. The first stocks in news, which is going to be opening its share buyback issue on December 1st to December 7th. It's going to be buying in 5.4% equity at a price of 770 per share, which is a significant premium. Now, in April 2023, it was Gujarat government which announced in the new policy for minimum levels of dividend distribution and bonus shares for PSU. Just walking the talk at this point of time, and you're seeing that amount of gains coming in for that one. Thomas Cook, another one that you need to keep an eye out on. Promoter Finterest Capital is going to be selling in up to 8.5% stake, or roughly just say that 4 crore equity shares to be sold via an OFS on November 30 and December 1st. Now, a bit of losses coming in for that one, 5% downtick there. OFS comprises of base offer size of 6.8% share and a green shoe option of 1.7% equity. Now, the issue will be open today for non-retail investors. Retail can participate on December 1st. The floor price has been set at 125 per share, which is significantly lower as compared to the current market price of 150. Hence, you're seeing that amount of reaction in today's session. Zee Entertainment. Well, a bit of clarification coming in on news report which suggests that Sony-Zee merger risk collapses over 11th hour CEO drama. That's a bit of media report that was reported, and there is a clarification that Zee has issued in. It's called this report factually incorrect, and has said that the company continues to work towards the successful closure of the proposed merger, which would be as per the composite scheme of arrangement approved by NLCT Mumbai. So that's, long and short when it comes to stocks and news. Of course, bunch of other names like Gandhar Oil and Tata Technologies, which will, of course, be making in their, which is going to be debuting in today. Gandhar Oil Refinery India, which is, going to be listing in today. Final issue price has been set at 169 per share. The grey market premium, of course, indicates an opening premium of around 35 to 40%. And Fedbank Financial Services, that's another one. You have 3 listings today. This is the second one, which is going to be listing in today. Of course, the issue price has been at 140 per share, and the grey market premium suggests that the stock at this point of time is not attracting any premium. Tata Technologies, that's the biggie that we are going to be talking about. But just in jiffy, we are going to be talking, the street knows and probably awaits the listing of Tata Technologies. But we're going to be talking about that in just a bit. Let's go back to Chandan and check with him. What does he make out of something like Suzlon Energy, for that matter, Suzlon stocks? Because MSCI entrant, we saw some amount of correction which took place in previous session. What's your take, Chandan, if at all?
Talked about counter, which is in focus from last couple of days, and we have seen good momentum, especially the stock is up by around 273% in this year. We can't comment fundamentally, but technically looking at the counter, 36 is the support, for 45 is a target.
All right, Chandan, we're just going to leave it at that, and thank you so much for taking out the time and having a conversation with us. Let's now navigate our conversation to Nikhil Oswal, who's the founder and director of Finterest Capital. Morning there, Nikhil. Thank you so much for taking out the time and having us, having this conversation with us. Nikhil,
Good morning.
All right, Nikhil, I'm going to start off with, what do you make out of the present situation for the markets? A, you're seeing FII interest coming back. B, you have a bit of volatility which is expected to take place today because of the exit poll. Apart from that, F&O expiry, OPEC meeting, output cut decision, everything put together, what's the kind of direction you think we're headed now in?
So, good morning, Nicky, and all the Money Control viewers. So, let me make it very simple. So, we have seen FIs coming back to India again, okay, and they've really not started buying the way they should have done, right? And if you see that, we saw that the US retirement fund is now going to be setting up a new benchmark index, MSCI benchmark index, which is going to see a $3.4 billion inflow in India. That is a massive fund that is going to come into India. And if you also notice that we are seeing a global tech tie-ups with a lot of Indian companies, like we saw last time, ABB tying up with Titagar Wagon. The new M&A that are happening in India are very, very, very strong. So we believe that the momentum should continue. And of course, there is not a lot of bargain available on the table for many stocks, many companies, but still the stock specific action continues. Something which is under owned, the sectors which have not performed will do well from here, and the money should flow over there. So coming to the exit polls, I mean, market is smart enough to react on, something that is not favorable, of course. But yeah, end of the day, we are eyeing Lok Sabha election, which is more impactful and more important for us.
All right, what do you make out of the FII trend? Of course, December, the activity usually is a little bit lackluster. Historically, that's the case. That's always been the case, of course. But look at something like a November data. Seems to be the interest has come back. What do you make out of a, FII interest back in November, along with few sectors that you think can now do well as we get into the new year?
So FIRs will take a bit of slowdown in the month of December. Of course, it's the year end. So, but we see the reallocation happening in the month of January, and a lot of money will flow into India for sure. The weight will, as I spoke about the new retirement fund of US, the new MSCI index. They are going to increase the weight for India, right? And also, if you notice that they have sold already 40-50,000 crores in last few months, and they've not really come into it. So I see FIs coming with a full force. Of course, they will have to come and buy some expensive stocks, but there's no option. I mean, the way we are growing, there's no other economy growing. Yeah.
We have three listings today, where you have one which is backed by Federal Bank, of course. One you have Gandhar Oil, and third one is the much awaited one, which is Tata Technologies. What's your view on the listing for Tata Technologies? So much of expectation coming around for the people who have not got the allocation. Do you think even if the stock continues to list at a premium of 75-80%, you think they can initiate a buy at that level?
So we will not initiate a fresh buy. First let me give a disclosure that Finterest Capital is a SEBI registered RA company. We may or may not have buying interest. So Tata Technologies is basically it's a engineering research and development company. It is not a typical IT company, right? There are some distinct parameters from other IT companies. It's listing at a P multiple of 32. Last year they did a PAT of around 620, 650 odd crores. So a decent valuation already. We will look at how to react after researching more over it. But of course, at a 70-80% premium, we will not jump and buy.
At this point of time, within the IT basket, what do you prefer, given the valuations that we're witnessing? Is that going to be a mid-cap IT company that you're going to prefer as compared to, the large-cap names like TCS? How are you looking at it?
So we like mid-cap IT, of course, and also the other side of IT, which is consumer IT as well, where things are changing a lot, like Paytm, Zomato. There also we are seeing some, buying interest. We already hold Paytm, and also if you, see, mid-cap ITs are performing way better than the large-cap ones. Because of the exposure towards US is higher in the the large tech giants. So mid-cap space is something with that we like.
All right. Any specific names within those within the space that you like? Could be Persistent, could be KPIT.
We like Birla Soft is something that we like. We like Paytm, that's all we like as of now.
All right. Nikhil, what do you make out of the cement stocks per se? Pan-India average cement prices has witnessed a marginal dip in November on account of weak demand due to festivities, election in selected states, and of course pollution-related curbs in Delhi and NCR. Do you find the sector attractive at this point of time, and also talk about the valuations?
So cement, basically cement is a more of a commoditized sector. We are not invested in cement yet. And we do like infra, realty, but not directly cement. So I will not be able to really guide on that. But the valuations are comfortable. It's really not performed compared to the other companies in the bull market. So.
Nikhil, we're just going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking out the time and having a conversation with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's now navigate our conversation to Tata Technologies, which is the first IPO listing in more than 90 years, at least from the Tata Group stable. It's likely to be a blockbuster debut on November 30. At least that's what the expectation is. According to expert, the listing premium may be around 75 to 80% over the issue price of 500 per share. This means that the opening price for the stock could be 875 to 900 per share, which experts attribute to strong parentage, healthy financial performance, solid IPO subscription figures, and growth potential in the engineering service industry going forward. The last IPO, to bear in mind fact, was TCS in 2004. But to give you further insights, Moneycontrol caught up with Tata Technologies Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director Warren Harris to hear into the slice of this conversation. Question really is, do you intend to bring that more? Do you intend to diversify more? And would you be allowed to work with other automobile peers too? Because it's a group company at the end of the day. So do you see that as a bit of a challenge at any given point of time?
No, let me make it very clear. There is no operational influence that the group or indeed Tata Motors positions on Tata Technologies. And so we are free to target and work with whoever we feel is appropriate in terms of the value that we can deliver. We expect the business at Tata Motors and JLR to continue to grow. But medium to long term, we expect, given the growth ambitions that we've got for the company, that the overall percentage that they will represent will continue to get smaller and smaller. Somewhat counterintuitively, however, over the next couple of years, we may see the contribution from Tata Motors and JLR actually bouncing up. Tata Motors and JLR have made very public statements about their capex and their investments in electric vehicles, both here in India and in the UK and places like China. And we are very much part of the ecosystem of partners that will help them deliver their product plans going forward. And so we're relatively bullish in the short term in terms of growth rates at Tata Motors and JLR. But certainly medium to long term, we expect the contribution in percentage terms of Tata Motors and JLR to come down.
All right, that was the management of Tata Technologies. Of course, we're going to be catching up with the management today too with the listing announcement. But with this, it's a wrap and goodbye from the entire team who puts this piece together. Well, thank you for watching and please do post your feedback for us in the comment section below. Follow us on the link at the bottom of your screen. And for rest of the updates, stay tuned into moneycontrol.com and Money Control app.